this video is like at least a couple weeks late, realistically, I hit 500 subscribers way sooner than I thought I would, so I had to take some time to think about what I wanted to do to celebrate that. Hi everyone, Rosie here. Welcome back to my channel. I am so excited to have all of you with me. I am always excited to have you with me, and it still kind of blows my mind that so many of you like what I have to say or how I say it enough to want to not only watch my videos, but also subscribe and watch them regularly. It really does mean the world to me. I know everyone says that in all of these videos, but I know those of you who also make videos will agree that it's because it's true. It's really kind of incredible. When I started my channel just over a year and a half ago, I remember saying to my partner, maybe I'll get a few tens of subscribers. That would be pretty incredible. If 10 people wanted to hear what I have to say, that would have been like, wow, amazing to me. So the fact that there's now over 500 of you is kind of, yeah, just really astonishing and incredible. And I hope you all know that I am so grateful to every single one of you, and I love having you here, which is why when I hit 500 subscribers, I knew I had to do some sort of celebration, do something to like mark that milestone, because it's a huge and exciting milestone for me. But as I said in the intro, it took me a little while to figure out what I wanted to do. I finally landed on the realization that I have only hit this milestone, and I'm pretty sure it's the case for most people on Booktube who've started more recently. I've only managed to get this far because of the lovely kindness and generosity of other booktubers who have taken the time to shout out my channel, to shout out my videos, to recommend me to their audiences. Believe me when I say that every single time someone does that, I am so excited and over the moon. It's always like a, oh my goodness, this is incredible type moment. That made me realize that the best way I could celebrate is to share some channels with you guys that you might not have heard of, but I think they all deserve so many subscribers. They're all making such fantastic videos, and hopefully we can share some of the love. And if you like my videos, maybe some of these will be channels that you haven't heard of, but that you will really, really love. The first channel I want to recommend is Jess of Stalking Kafka. I'm not going to say this for every channel because it's the case for pretty much everyone I watch. She talks about really diverse books. She talks about really diverse in terms of author and content, but also in terms of type of book. And that's one of the things that I love, and so that's one of the things that I watch a lot. So I won't repeat that. I'm going to talk more about the specific books that she talks about and that the other booktubers I'm going to recommend talk about. And in the case of Jess, for me, what I really associate her with is like literary fiction and classics. I read some classics, I read some literary fiction, and Jess's channel is one of those channels that I absolutely love because every video that I watch from her, she talks about books that I've either read and absolutely loved, or similar books that I haven't read or haven't heard of and immediately want to read, which for me is like just so perfect from a selfish point of view. I love watching videos where I'm like, I bet I'm gonna like this because I know I like that. And she absolutely hits that sweet spot for me. She also just makes really phenomenal videos. She just has such presence and personality, and like it comes across in her videos so clearly and powerfully. She's also really thoughtful in her reviews. Again, I might not say that for everyone here because I don't tend to watch people whose reviews I don't like, but I find Jess's discussion of books tends to be really well thought out and thought-provoking for me as well, which is always fantastic. The next booktuber I want to mention is Enamo Shoshin, who reads, again, a huge variety of books. The ones that stick to mind for me are like vintage sci-fi and I think some like crime and mystery stuff, but that might just be because of the videos that I've watched from her recently. I think she really does read all sorts of things. And the reason I highly recommend you go check out Mo's channel is partly because her book tastes and her book reviews are fantastic, but I think she also brings something to the booktube discussion that I don't see that much, which is a lot of talk about sustainability and zero waste waste and reading in a sustainable and zero waste way. So she has videos just about her zero waste lifestyle and how she's trying to be more mindful and careful about what she consumes, and those are great. But she recently had a video about why she doesn't buy new books and how she does access the books that she reads, where she talks about how really most of her books she gets from the library or library sales or thrift stores or little free libraries and stuff like that. And for her, going to a used bookstore is like the last resort, not the first step, which I think is just really inspiring. It's not how I interact with books, largely because I don't read physical books, but I think it's a discussion and a reminder that is really, really important, and that I'm really glad there's someone who is talking about it and making it such an important part of how they discuss books. I think it's really easy to just gloss over that part, and we tend to just not think about how we're acquiring books. I really love her discussion about how to read in a more sustainable way and how that impacts her reading and her choices. So if that sounds like a theme that would interest you, make sure you go watch her videos. Next, I want to mention Read by Fred, who's a relatively new booktuber, but doing some fantastic videos. I really, really love his videos about the more academic and obscure nonfiction books that he reads. That's something that if you guys have been around for a little while, you will know that I am a bit of a sucker for some weirdly niche academic writing and what most people would consider painfully dry nonfiction. I kind of love that stuff sometimes. Fred seems to too. He reads some really interesting books, and the way he reviews them is so clear and concise and informative. You really get a sense for what the book is about, how the book is structured, what he thought about it. I have to applaud a booktuber who made multiple videos about like ancient warfare and ancient mariners in his first few videos. Just yes, love to see it, want to see more of that on Booktube, so make sure you go support him so that we can get more great videos like that. My fourth channel recommendation is Book Treks by Shannon. This is a bit of a different one for me because I don't think Shannon and I overlap tons in our reading taste. I love her videos and I love hearing her talk about the books she's watching and some of the other stuff she talks about, which I'll get to in a moment, because Shannon just has one of those personalities that I would watch talking about anything. She has found what she is passionate about and she is talking about it, and to me that is so engrossing and just like, I don't care if it's a topic I've never heard of before. The way she talks about it, I'm interested. As you might have guessed from her channel name, one of the things that Shannon talks about loads is Star Trek. She talks about the shows, she talks about the books. I'm not a Star Trek fan. I've watched like one or two of the movies and like a few episodes of a few of the shows, but it's not something I ever got into. And yet, her discussions of Star Trek and her thoughts and reviews and like kind of video essays are so interesting to me. If you are a Star Trek fan, I think definitely check her out. But even if you're not, she's just got such an interesting perspective that I think her videos are well worth watching. And she does also read lots of other type of stuff. It's not just Star Trek stuff. That for me is one of the things that she does that really, I think, crystallizes how important being passionate about what you're talking about is in content creation, and she really hits it out of the park. The final channel I want to recommend is one that I've probably talked about a few more times than the others on here, and that is Elle Thinks. I absolutely adore her videos, adore her reviews. Like I said at the beginning, she reads a really varied set of books. She reads a lot of interesting books that I don't see other people talking about, especially in the translated fiction sphere. That's another thing that I read a bit of translated fiction, generally enjoy it, and when I watch her videos, I'm always adding to my TBR because every single one of them, I feel like she mentions some book that sounds phenomenal and that I have never heard of before. You might be sensing a theme. That is something I love in my Booktube channels to watch, is people who talk about things that are maybe not talked about so much, who are bringing attention to fantastic books that, for whatever reason, aren't getting the hype they deserve. Elle absolutely does that. Her reviews are so well considered and thoughtful and convey so much information, not just about like what happens in the book and stuff, but like what you can expect from the book and how she felt about it. Just amazing. And if you love a rant video, in my view, Elle does some of the best rant videos I have seen on Booktube. They're just so engaging. I know as soon as she mentions in a wrap-up that she didn't like a book, that we are in for such a treat, because she manages to be so articulate and precise, but also like scathing when she doesn't like something, and that makes my heart sing. So if you like unique books and rant videos, make sure you check her out. Or if you just like good book reviews in general, make sure you check all of these channels out, because I'm talking about them because they're great and because they're amazing and because I really do think that you guys would really like them too. I hope that you will check them out and leave them a comment and say hi, and hopefully you'll find some new staples of your subscription feed in the process. Once again, thank you all so much for being here, for watching my videos, for subscribing to my videos, for having fantastic discussions with me in the comments. It really does mean so much to me, and I'm gonna just get babbly again, so let's wrap this video up. Let me know in the comments, and let everyone else know in the comments too, what is a channel that you adore and think is criminally underrated? I'm always on the lookout for more fantastic channels to watch. And if you like this video, please give it a like down below. If you would like to see more of my videos, make sure you hit subscribe, and thank you for watching.